say congratulations. I think your line is amazing. And
Oh, thank
what you've
you.
created has, because most of the time, most cooks or self-taught cooks are, we are making our own little blends and stuff. But yours they have everything we need.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, this is a great thing. So, well, first of, let me get right into it. Can you introduce yourselves to the audience so they know who you are and a little bit about your background?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Suzy Sapir. I own Hippy Pilgrim. It's a farm-to-table garlic salt and gourmet seasoning company out in little old Plimpton, Massachusetts. So I manufacture farm-to-table spices for people in my community, online, stores, you name it.
I love that. So, can you explain farm to table to people who are not familiar with the term?
Sure. So in the summertime, our garlic salts are made with produce that we grow right here on the property. So we literally take it from the ground to the jar to your table. And if it doesn't come from my farm seasonally, I buy from other local farmers to support my local agriculture. So it's a way for one jar of garlic salt to be able to support multiple businesses all at the same time.
I love that because I mean, so I'm in Stafford, Virginia, where we have so you could throw a rock and you can hit someone's farm. So you have goat farms, duck farms, you have the dairy farms, you have all of these options here. We have the smaller farms. We actually have different organizations that are doing farm education. So I love
Nice.
that you're supporting, you know,
I love it. I mean, I sell at the local farmers markets. And, before I entered into that scene, I wasn't truly connected to the food in my community. And once you start direct selling to your neighbors, and the only thing dividing you is a table there at the farmers market, it becomes a really personal experience. And you get to know all the growers, the farmers, the unique makers in your community, all these people that can provide you everything you were most likely getting at the grocery store, but they're making it with their own two hands. And I just think it's a more personal way to shop.
Yeah, I mean, I love because we have long family markets here. They're open on Sundays here. And just going and seeing how they are like some of the produce is so fresh. Like you could tell it still has dirt on it. So it's like
Right.
that it just came from somebody's ground. And then also we have this lady, she's a florist, but she grows the flowers in her yard. And
Yes.
those last for weeks. And I'm like, you all like, and I keep telling people, the farmers market is where you're going to find the best of the best. And I
Exactly.
love that you include that because I can't wait to cook with your garlic salt today.
Oh, they're so
Found it. I
good.
was like, I'm going to interview her today. So I'm definitely going to include the video so that people can see because I love to cook. That is my jam. That is something that I have been doing since I was a young kid.
No.
Oh.
I love that. Well, you were talking about the freshness of the food at the farmer's market. Most of these farmers harvest that produce either the morning of the market or the day before. So I call it like still alive. Like it's literally
Yes.
still alive. And the benefit is it's at the highest nutrient value the soonest it comes out of the ground. So produce you get at the grocery store could be on trucks being delivered from California to Massachusetts. So there's a lot more work going into getting it here, which means time's flying and it's just not as high of a quality as opposed to these folks that are up at 5 a.m., plucking my salad greens out of the ground so I can have it fresh at the farmer's market.
I just like because when I say dang it, I left it downstairs. The packaging that you have, they're ready
Yes,
to be, you can put them in a bowl and grab from it. It's
right.
just right. When you all see the video of me prepping my meal today, you all are going to understand how beautiful the salts are. Like I love seeing it. You all will see it. So tell me about your experience because I was reading your bio and you were on the next food network star.
Yes,
And
season one.
you are at the beginning. I'm like, yo,
Oh my God. So this was before. Food Network ever delved into reality TV. And this was their debut kind of show, to get their feet wet with it. We were the guinea pigs. No one had ever done reality food programming before. So it was new for everybody. And it was, I think, so authentic and pure and genuine because of the innovation of it at the time. No one was living together. It wasn't about squabbling or fighting. It was just about, you know, eight, nine different people that wanted to spread the joy of cooking through their own unique point of view and went for it.
And I love being that I'm a Food Network. Well, I love seeing like individuals who are self-taught. They like, who is, I feel like self-taught is not just self-taught, it's in you. That was your
Yes.
calling. That is something, you just woke up and it's like your connection to food and feeding people was something that's innate within you. So it's not something you had to study for. It was just, okay, this goes with this goes with that. And I love seeing that. And
Well, back then, like I grew up in a house. I was one of four kids. We were not raised by wealthy parents. And years ago, farm to table was necessity, not vogue eating. So we had a garden that we had to tend to. Kids back then weren't just running around playing all the time. We had our chores, and ours were to weed the garden. I had to shuck the corn at dinner. So we were an active part of making the meal happen in our kitchen. And that's what I'm trying to get a revolution to happen is, win, lose, or draw, just try, get in there and try no matter what happens.
I love that because I grew up in the South. So that is something like you when you did your meals, that was something you had to do. You either snap peas,
Mhm.
you shuck, corn, you do all of those things. You go pick different things that you needed, berries or whatever we needed, you went and got it. And
Yes.
like one of those things, and as much as you don't want to get up on a Saturday morning and go weed the garden, you have to do
Right.
it before the sun comes all the way up because it's too hot. So
Exactly.
I think kids nowadays would benefit from those experiences. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. I did a little education thing at a farm, and there happened to be chickens on the farm. And I was like, oh, there's a chicken. That's where your chicken comes from. And this little boy was like, no, it doesn't. I said, well, where does the chicken come from? And he said, a can.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
was
poor
like,
baby.
oh no, we have a lot of work to do here.
Because I think, oh gosh, if they had to go and dispatch a chicken, I don't think they'll make it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, well, you had to first you had to catch it. Okay. That is that
Yeah, step one.
catch it. And
Oh my God.
I don't think these kids now. Oh my God. Or
No, they have no clue.
no.
It's funny, the people that do the camera for my Wednesday night lives, these two chicken farmers run the cameras for me. And they will teach people how to process their own chickens. And they actually describe it as a very spiritual experience. They're like, I am respectfully raising this chicken. I am respectfully thanking it for what it's about to do for my family. And they take that process so seriously. I don't know if I could even like do it, but I think I should just once to
Just one
experience it.
time. Just one time because it's one of those things where it's not okay. Yes, it was traumatic as a kid. So never mind. It will get you at the beginning, but you know what the purpose is.
And you appreciate where the food came from. So when I was in my early 20s, I got a job as a stern woman on a lobster boat with the oldest lobsterman in Plymouth Harbor. And I had to get up at 5 in the morning, go out in this rickety old boat with him, put on the rubber overalls. I had to, take these lobster traps up over the side of the boat by hand,
Oh,
get the damn lobsters out, band them without getting bit, put nasty old chopped fish back in the bait bags. And I remember thinking, I don't care what I'll pay per pound for lobster ever again in my life because this is hell just to catch one, you know?
you start to appreciate.
Yeah,
Why it costs that
exactly.
much per pound. They have earned it. Like they have really earned
Hmm.
it. Because that was, oh gosh, people, listen. Vegetables are easy. Just saying, vegetables.
Exactly.
we'll get- we will get the vegetables, but trying to catch a chicken, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's actually, you get a good workout.
Builds
So
character.
yes, that's it right there. It builds character. Very, very exciting, heart racing character. Um, so I love the line, the hippie pilgrim. So you have this amazing hotline.
Yes.
Can you tell me where did that start from? What was the inspiration for that?
I've always been a business owner that wants to do things that no one else has even thought of or is really doing. And 2024 was my toughest year financially and personally. It was very challenging across the board. And from 7 to 9 at night, I found myself just, dwelling in my own sorrows. Poor me. The time was not being used productively.
Right.
So I remember, my mom used to say to me, if you're not doing well, do something to make somebody else's life better. So I thought, what could I do with these 2 hours that's in that mindset? And I thought, well, I'll just start a 24, a 7 day a week, 2 hour a night hotline and answer strangers' questions about cooking and food, why not? So it started as this crazy idea. Everyone thought I was nuts. Like, what are you doing? Like, no one quite understood the concept. And then the night we opened the hotline, 12 people called, and it couldn't have been a cooler, more awesome experience. And I had a bunch of people over, so everyone was able to give input on the questions being asked. But I thought, here in with a telephone in 2 hours, we had the ability to help 12 people.
Wow.
And that to me just like made my night. And it took me away from my own baloney and focused my energy on something positive for somebody else.
I love that because
Yeah, a little crazy, but I got a little crazy in me. Why not?
what it made it people who were calling in, they really did need to reach out. They really needed you.
It was interesting because I originally started this as like, oh, how do I boil hard boiled eggs, or these simplified things. And the video on TikTok went viral, and a lot of the questions or a lot of the feedback I never expected. And it was a lot of people saying that they either grew up in the foster care system and they never had a mom or a dad or sister or brother to bounce these questions off of. People who have lost their parents or grandparents that served as that, little role in their family where they're like, oh, I know I can call Aunt Gertrude for this. And then she's no longer with them anymore. And it's somebody that's not judging you for asking, making you feel stupid for asking. It's someone that's just genuinely there for you to say, oh, I can tell you how to do that
Right.
and talk you through it, like just take someone on that next step. And it's a lot more fun than Googling something because you can Google something and you get the answer. So, say you were like, how do you fold in egg whites? What does that mean? And you read about it in a recipe, but to actually have someone talk to you about taking it and going up, over, and around and making sure it stays light and fluffy and this is the texture you're looking for, those are things that Google can't give you that a
Yeah.
human being can. And a human being is cheerleading you on, saying, awesome, I'm psyched you're trying that recipe. And I'm applauding people for giving it a whirl in the kitchen rather than giving up in the kitchen.
I think having someone audibly tell you exactly how to do something helps than reading it because you don't
Yes.
really receive exactly. Some people intake information differently. So you being able to tell them exactly like, to how to do those things, that's a wonderful thing. And you mentioning people who have been in foster care and things like that, or they've lost family members, because for a dark period of our time, we lost a lot of people and a lot of people that had a lot of family traditions and things like that. So being able to have a resource that will kind of, bring those memories back or help them to remember and help them to get through those things. That's a wonderful thing because, just you sitting there created that avenue to
It
help.
was unexpected. And it was funny. Somebody wrote, "Now you can be America's mama." And that just melted me. My kids are grown and, I'm not in that day to day, hands-on parenting role, but I respect the grind. I was a single mom. I've lived that, busy, fast-paced, struggling with finances. I've gone through a lot of the struggles a lot of people have. So I'm coming to the table with not this is my way or the highway. I'm coming and meeting this person in the middle saying, all right, what do you have in your kitchen? What's in the fridge? What are your resources? Purchase whatever ingredients you can afford to buy and we'll make it work.
Mhm.
It's not, this is what's right or wrong. I kind of say it's your kitchen, so it's your rules, which means you never go wrong, you know?
And I love that because, like you said, purchase what you can afford, but some recipes you modify towards your liking.
Oh,
People
yeah.
like, oh, I have to follow this so exactly. It's like, no, that's not.
No.
No, it's about what makes you smile when you have to eat it. That person doesn't
Yes.
eat this. And we're adults, so we can pick out the things that we don't like.
And every recipe I look at is a building block for making it my own. So
Right.
it's no different. You go out to buy a dress, five people could wear that same dress, but the way we accessorize it and style it, that's what's making us us.
Totally
And it's the
different.
same
Yeah.
thing with a dish.
So I have a question, and I know you have many, many options to choose from, but what's your favorite seasoning? Which one is your favorite?
That I make,
Yes.
I have it right here. It's my so this was the fourth blend I ever made, and I haven't made one yet I like better than this blend, and it's the Thanksgiving garlic salt.
Oh,
So this one smells just like fresh stuffing. So it's got garlic, rosemary, sage, thyme, marjoram, kosher salt, black pepper, and I use it all the time on everything, 365 days a year.
it has all of the things though.
All the
Oh,
things.
that makes it.
Time saver.
Yeah, but it's like you think about it, it's like your Christmas is coming up, but you also have Easter. You have all of these holidays. And that's not just for Thanksgiving, because just thinking about
No.
it, that is, you have, well, there's difference between stuffing and dressing. That's a whole
Right.
different argument. Please don't argue in the comments on this one. Okay. We'll have whatever you all call it, it's what it'll be. But
Exactly.
even even with the savory dishes, like with Thanksgiving is more than just turkey. You can do different chicken, different pork, you can stuff. That is like the perfect blend of everything.
It's really good on eggs too.
Oh.
It makes them taste you know what it does? This blend makes everything taste like you busted your ass on it and all you did was pinch it on. That's it.
See,
Everyone's like, "What did you do to this chicken? Tell me the recipe." And I'm like, "I just put that on it." And they're like, "No, no, no. Tell me the recipe." And I'm like, "Okay, take the lid off." I'm like, "Go like that." And that's it. But it
but
just
see,
adds all these flavors. So people tell me my products make them feel successful in the kitchen because they don't have to do anything except pinch. That's all you need to know how to do is just pinch it on.
I have the basil and the
Oh, yeah,
garlic.
that's a nice one.
I will say the garlic one, as soon as I smelled it, I was like, Brussels sprouts, we're gonna do pork chops, and we're gonna do something else. Because it's like you can when once you smell it, your ideas start popping up. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's so fresh. It's
Yeah.
nothing like anything you could ever purchase in a grocery store. And everything is made by hand. And we hand label it, hand date it, hand jar it. So there's so much quality control from start to finish that it's such I view it as such a bougie, up-class seasoning that anyone has access to.
And I'm doing desserts as well, where I'm going to use the vanilla, the sugar one.
Yes,
I
yes.
have some I made this. I usually make corn pancakes sometimes in the
Ooh, I
morning.
love corn cakes.
So what I was gonna do is use that, make them, but dust them with after I butter them, dust them just so I can have a different kind of dessert that goes with them. Because,
Yes.
tastes good with pork chops and then with the Brussels sprouts. See, that's how I came up with my menu today. Because I was like, I
Oh, I love
opened it
it.
and I smelled, I was like, oh, I could do all of those things. Now I just have to figure out if I'm going to do I have these Yukon potatoes, the little small ones.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
What time should I be over? Is it too late to catch a
Oh,
flight?
I'm thinking because it's one of those things. Like I knew I was talking to you today. I was so glad. I was like, I was thinking, I was like, I would do the video over the weekend, but now I was like, I have to do it today.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, because like I was smelling them. I was like, the packaging, like the jar is so perfect.
Oh, thank
Because you don't
you.
have to put it in something else. You can just take a little spoon or just take a pinch out of it and you're good to go.
I call
And,
them pinch pots.
and they're perfect for that. Like, and it, because everyone's like, oh, you could just buy the spice bowls. Um, a lot of people don't have space.
Well, and people feel like a chef when they're pinching, like,
Yes,
like on the shows. So and I'm very sensory in the kitchen. I
yeah.
like to touch every ingredient, smell every ingredient. I'm like a little kid. Once you add this to this, I'm like, ooh, look what that did. And, for me, it's a whole, like you said, just this creative, like sensory chaos fun. And, spices are this missing piece that people don't put as much emphasis on.
True.
And it's just as much a key ingredient as everything else you're putting on that plate.
Because I'm really excited to cook with it because it's like I was walking, I was like looking, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun. And then just looking at the container, it's like perfect. Can you hold yours up? Because I left mine downstairs,
Yes.
but like it's like the perfect way to pinch. Like
And it's wide. There's a wide
enough, yeah.
jar. Yes.
So
They have
it's like
skinny salts, and I hate it. I
you
can't get my
thought that
fingers in there.
through. Like you literally
Well,
thought about that, and I love that. It's a
when
I
I started the company, and most people expect their seasonings to be in a shaker. So when I started Hippy Pilgrim, again, like the helpline, everyone's like, "You're crazy." Everybody shakes on their seasonings. So you mean to tell me you're going to get people to now pinch on all those things? And I said, "That's exactly what I'm going to do." And the fact, here we are 11 years later, running strong as a business. I've successfully been able to change the way America is seasoning their
yeah.
food. I've been able to have them ditch salt and pepper shakers in favor of these little pinch pots and change an actual behavior of a cook in the kitchen. And to me, that was like the hugest win because it was a hard ask for someone.
Yep.
I'll give you an awesome seasoning, but I'm gonna make you pinch it on. You're not gonna shake it like you normally do. And they went for it.
I mean, it's one of those things that some people like to touch. Shaking
Yes,
it, you don't get to control the amount either. Because
right.
top can fall off, steam gets into the top of it. You
Yes.
having a way to, connect with it a lot better. And I love that because I saw the little pinch bowls and stuff like that. It's like, do I have enough space or am I going to remember I have that bowl?
I
You
spill
know?
mine and it ends up dumping over in the kitchen when I'm cooking.
No, that's a waste of stuff, and I don't like to waste anything. So,
Me either.
so I know we're in the midst of holiday season. So, what can you give the audience a couple tips that they can use when they're cooking for themselves or their family that that can help them, and then if they doesn't help them, they can call the hotline.
Sure. So the first thing I like to tell people is if you're the host, it's what you say goes.
Oh,
So if people are coming over and they're going to be judgmental or harsh or critical of your cooking, they can host next year. So take that stress off. You're not cooking for the Queen of England. It's your family and you're the one putting in that work. What I will say is keep it simple. Sometimes simple is best.
Mhm.
So if you work with very simple, basic food groups and think of your entertaining as what's the main protein going to be? What are the vegetables or sides going to be? What are my starches going to look like at this meal? And think of it in those terms. And then one of the things that a lot of cooks forget to do around the holidays is actually plan when things are going to be popping in and out of that oven and when the
Yeah.
stove top's going to be used because you have to focus on what takes the longest to cook first. So if you're cooking a turkey, you've got to get that in first and remember that now that oven's taken up for a few hours. So being able to just plan it out, time it out, have that game plan so that you have something that's things that are in the longest to cook category, things that you can cook while that longest item is cooking, and then what are those last minute things that can be done quickly via stovetop, and then what can be done in advance. What prep work can I take off? Maybe tap the kids into peeling carrots for you, peeling potatoes, but just timing it out nicely always works. And then if you're not a savvy cook, one of the things I like to do is offer savvy condiments. Because say you only make a basic roast chicken or you just do a basic roast vegetable, but sometimes making a flavored butter a nice compound butter that can go with the bread that might seem like a simple bread. People are going to be talking about that little flavored butter forever. And all you're doing is softening unsalted butter, adding some herbs and my spices, and you're done. But those little fancier little ways to upscale, little garnishes, little sprigs of herbs. Those little touches are what make a meal memorable without culinary effort.
Yep.
So I find the way you dress it up, people eat with their eyes first. The more beautiful the dish looks, you're going to get that immediate buy-in, even if you're a simple cook at home.
I love it. I love it. And if all those tips don't work, she has a hotline. It'll be in the bio. You can,
Call me.
yeah,
I
just
love
call.
it. Yeah, last minute dilemma. And one of the favorite things I like is when people call and they'll tell me what's in the fridge, what's in the freezer, what's in the pantry, and what they think is no possibility. I'm looking at 4 to 5 different meals they could whip up out of those ingredients. So kind of a pantry raid call is
Oh,
always a fun one. Yeah, I love those calls.
I love that. And so you from the seasonings to the hotline, like just sitting in your space and knowing like you open the door
I
for
love it.
so much. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, oh
Thank you. I'm
my,
old school. I love talking on the phone.
yeah.
I grew up, my mom had a phone cord that went from the kitchen out to her garden where she watered her flowers. And you just had to it was an Olympic sport hurling over her phone cord wherever it was. And I think as advanced as we are as a society, so many people are in need of help and
Yep.
don't want traditional roots, or they want to go back to that old fashioned personalized one-on-one attention that you get that isn't existing anymore. And I just love chatting on the phone and talking someone up. And I'm curious about people. I'm curious about their kitchen habits and their routines. So I'm learning just as much from them as they are from me in the interaction. And in a case like the call the other night, I had a woman call a grandmother about how to roast pumpkin. And she wanted to make it with her grandbabies and make her own pumpkin puree. So as we got to talking, I'm a very intuitive person. And I said to her, is there something going on at work or with your job, or is something happening on the work front? And she started to cry and explained this confidence issue that she was having related to work. And we talked about squashing self-doubt and not being afraid to try something new and having confidence in yourself. And I ended up crying after I got off the phone with her because it went in a direction I didn't expect. And here was a woman that was truly hurting inside, needed help in the kitchen, but there was this other little thing that she had never taken the time to let someone else in her life know that was hurting inside of her. And she was vulnerable enough to share that with me. So it was like a Dear Abby for Food and Soul moment, and I loved
Oh, I
it.
love that. So, because
Hmm.
you can hear the inflection in someone's voice if they're going through something, and I
Yes.
love that. So the helpline is not just for cooking, guys. You know,
Yeah.
because you're feeding your body, but you also need that emotional support. And
Yes.
I can't thank you enough for what
Oh,
you've shared with everyone, but and also you continue to do that. So I'm thanking you on behalf of everyone who is going to encounter you, or have encountered you.
thank
I
you.
think that this is amazing. So if you want to drop your handles, so
Oh, I would love
I
that.
see.
So if you want to follow us on Facebook or TikTok, it's at Hippy Pilgrim, Hippy, the word pilgrim. On Instagram, it's at Hippy Pilgrim Garlic Salt. And if you want to check out our products online, you can view them at hippypilgrim.com.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're
I can't
welcome.
wait to
Thank
make my
you.
dinner. Okay, I can't wait to make my dinner.
I know. I feel your positive energy, and I wish I was coming over for supper
Yes,
tonight.
I'm actually, and this is something that I have not done yet. Like I post my meals, but I'm going to do a full video with voiceover. So you kind of giving me
Woo!
the little boost to finally do that. So I want to thank you for that because I'm
Well,
going to
you're
start
welcome.
this
Now, what are your
afternoon.
handles so I can follow you?
Oh, mine are conversations with Chan across everything.
Perfect.
Yes,
CHAM. Awesome.
yes. Thank you so much for chatting with me. And
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate your interest. This has been so fun. I can't work. I'm planning all my content for 2025, and I'm actually challenging people to just show up at my house during the lives on
oh,
Wednesday nights. So on Wednesday nights tonight, every Wednesday I go live from 7 to 9. So I cook while the helpline's open. So
yeah.
if someone doesn't call, at least they're getting some cooking fun with me in the kitchen.
Oh, that is
So
awesome, especially
yeah, every
for
Wednesday.
everyone's. I'll definitely put that in the article as well. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. It's
so
so much
much.
fun. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
You
Hey,
will.
you better text me or send me a picture of
I
that finished meal
am.
or I'm gonna be
I
upset.
I definitely am because I'm excited because it's like, okay, it is 3:30 now, so I have about an hour to get some stuff done. I already took what I
Yes.
out of the freezer. I got my Brussels sprouts this morning, so I'm excited to
What are you gonna do to the Brussels
I
sprouts?
am going to braise them, even though
Mmm.
my kids like it with bacon in
Oh,
them. So I'm teetering on doing a half and a half. I don't know yet,
yeah,
but I think the so even with the pork chops, I'm doing half like half broiled, and then like,
yeah.
it's so because it's like I looked at the salt and I was like, oh, this would be so pretty. So it's like I'm thinking about it's like so many things, and then
Now, little goes a long way. So
right,
when you season with it, pretend it's pure white table salt.
yes,
So grocery store garlic salt is basically garlic powder mixed with salt, so it
yes,
doesn't seem as salty. This is the actual raw plant preserved in the salt, so you'll be shocked how
wow.
little you need to get great flavor. And honestly, the original blend, I don't know, did I send you the original with the turquoise label?
I know it's a black label, I think.
I'm trying to think.
I gotta look at it.
This one?
Oh no, I don't have that
Did I
one.
send you that one? The
Yeah.
OG, that one was like the very first one I ever made, and that's what actually got my kids to eat anything.
Oh
Before
wow.
it was even a company, I would leave it on the table and they would call it the magic seasoning. And I said, "Why are you calling it that?" And they said, "It's magically making my broccoli taste good."
Oh, that is awesome because I was
Yeah, yeah.
and then
So
the
even just on a veggie, like I found I got the best buy-in from the kids because they were actually doing their own sprinkling and it was their choice to put it on the
oh,
food.
that's a
You
good
know what I
idea.
mean?
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. So I think I would do that. I mean, I think I'm gonna go get some squash as well, some yellow squash, but
Mm.
because I think this is gonna be really good and with the potatoes. So I'm just so excited to cook with you
Yay. Oh,
today.
I can't wait to see your finished meal.
Yes, thank you, and I
And
appreciate
welcome to the Hippie Pilgrim family. I'm honored to
Thank
be in your
you.
kitchen.
I'm excited because It's gonna be really, really good.
It is going to be good. And you get
So
all the credit.
I know, and I thank you because this is gonna be
You're
really good.
welcome.
It's taking me out of my little comfort zone, so I'm
And
happy.
that's one of my biggest things is my whole philosophy is so when my kids were little, I'll never forget. I had a sleepover and one of my son's friends, I was in the kitchen dancing around, doing dinner and having fun. I would play music, drink a glass of wine, and the little boy said to me, "You don't look like my mom in the kitchen." And I said, "Really? What does your mom look like in the kitchen?" And he said, "Angry."
Oh, okay.
And for me, I want everyone to experience joy in this room of the house because it's the room that brings everyone together constantly. You
Yeah.
have to eat. It should be fun. You shouldn't resent the process. And trying to me is an absolute 100% form of success. So the fact that you even tried, even if it got burned to death, you
It's still
tried and you knew don't cook it that long next time.
right.
So every failure turns into a success as long as you just get in there and give it a go. And that's why I'm here to cheerlead people into this space, not be afraid of it, embrace imperfection. Martha Stewart built her empire on perfection. And the Hippy Pilgrim Empire is being built on imperfection, flaws, fear, vulnerability, and let's just get over it together in the kitchen.
I love that because that boost of confidence comes,
Yes,
so
it
helpful.
doesn't have to be perfect,
That's
you know?
I love that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You see clips. I'm gonna definitely send you
All
clips
right.
because
All
you've
right.
given
Thank you
me.
so much.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today. You have a wonderful afternoon.
You too, girl.
All right.
Mwah. Your babies are lucky.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye, hon.